I'm on my way to the Washington Memorial Library to meet with Ashley Baggett, and I'm hoping to find any more information about James Venable and Elizabeth, and maybe hoping that James might have redeemed himself somehow in later years. Hi, I'm Megan. It's so nice to meet you. So I'm anxious to learn more about my great-great-grandmother, Elizabeth Venable.
I did find something from 1869.
Oh my God, okay. The Telegraph, Macon, Friday, October 8th, 1869. Mayor's Court, oh no, the court thing, oh God. Mayor's Court. The first case called in the court yesterday morning was that of the mayor and city council against James Venable and his pugnacious spouse. No, stop it. Oh, God. My last best hope has come crashing down. Pugnacious spouse, Mrs. Venable. It was proved that she had, on Monday last, given her wayward James, her husband, a most awful mauling with a stick. I can't, I mean, this is beyond.
I think that's interesting because they're attributing it to her, but in an abusive relationship, sometimes it can be the individual fighting back.
That's true. That's a good point. He could have been drunk, and he could have been threatening her or being abusive toward the children, or, you never know. But it's sad. She had 2 children in 1860. This is 9 years later. We really don't know how many she has at this point.
I do have a document that did involve her children.
Okay, I'm ready. Court case. What a surprise. 21st April, 1890. Elizabeth Venable versus Thomas, her son, W. Mullally. So she's suing her son. The petition of Elizabeth Venable, having 2 children, Thomas W. and Charles B. Mullally, my great-grandfather. Richard M. Mullally, her first husband, died totally insolvent, that during her widowhood, she was a dressmaker. So that's how she was supporting herself and her children after he died.
It's actually one of the few professions that was open to women.
And accumulated a little money ahead with $200 of the money so made. That tract or parcel of land situated in the city of Macon at the agreed price of $800 for titles executed to petitioner. She bought that property. Richard dies, and she immediately takes matters into her own hands and buys a little property on her own before she meets, probably, but certainly before she marries Venable.
Elizabeth is, as a widow and having her own business, she's able to own property. But when she marries, she actually loses rights.
Okay, so her 2 Mullally children, as co-tenants, each having a 1/3 interest, and that they intend to insist upon said interest to the exclusion of her Venable children. So she did have children with James Venable.
So her sons from the first marriage are on the deed for her property that she had, and they were trying to force the sale of it. So she's taking them to court.
So she feels that all of her children are entitled to a share in her property and who are equally the objects of her benevolence. That's a really nice sentence.
And you can see she's trying to be a good mother to all her children, and she's successful.
She was successful. So Elizabeth won the lawsuit against her Mullally sons.
And considering this time period, here she is using the courts to try to provide for all her children. She is really taking those opportunities, having her own business and trying to buy property to advance her family, herself and her children, which is just pretty amazing.
I'm just glad that she's turning out to be a good person because everybody else is so horrible that it's just, you gotta have one and you gotta have a shred of hope. So how do I find out what happened to her?
We could try to look at the census records. Unfortunately, the 1890 census records were destroyed in a fire, but we could look at the 1900
Okay.
and ancestry.
Great. All right, here we are.
And go to search.
Census.
And then on the right-hand side, there's a 1900 census. And you probably remember her birth year.
Yeah.
Put in that she lived in Georgia.
Okay, so search.
So if we click on View Image,
Right, 1900 United States Federal Census. There she is. Okay, it says, what does this say right here? Inmate? No. Oh, God.